All right, today we're going to talk about a really powerful new way to think about your career. It's a framework that's not just about surviving, but actually thriving in a world that, let's be honest, changes by the minute. It's called the M-shaped career, and it might just be the secret weapon you've been looking for.
But before we dive in, I want you to ask yourself something. Just take a second and really think about it. Is your career, right now, built to last? Is it resilient enough to handle a world where whole industries can get turned upside down seemingly overnight? It's a tough question, I know, but it's exactly why we need to have this conversation.
So to really understand where we're headed, we've got to look back at where we've been. For decades, there was this really clear path to success, right? But that old path, well, it's led a lot of people to what we can call the specialist's dilemma.
For the longest time, the advice was so simple. Just pick one thing, get incredibly good at it, and you'll be set for life. This created the I-shaped specialist, someone with this deep but very narrow column of expertise. And for a while, that strategy worked like a charm.
But, and this is a huge but, here's the catch. This quote just nails it. Hyper-specialization is a great strategy for a stable world. Our world is anything but. That stability we once took for granted, it's gone. Things like AI, automation, huge global shifts, they mean the very ground your specialty is built on could just disappear. Okay, let's dive into this a little deeper, because our ideas about what it even means to be an expert have been trying to keep up. This isn't a brand new problem, and you can actually see a really clear evolution in how we think about skills.
So first you have that classic I-shaped specialist. We're talking deep knowledge in one single, very narrow area. Think of it like a deep well of knowledge. It's super powerful, for sure, but it's also really rigid. If the world stops needing water from that one specific well, you're suddenly in a really tough spot.
So naturally, the thinking evolved and we got the T-shaped professional. And this was a major leap forward, no doubt. You still have your deep specialty, that's the vertical part of the T. But now you add this broad horizontal bar of general knowledge. Communication skills, the ability to work with others. This lets you collaborate way more effectively with people outside your little bubble.
The T-shaped model is definitely more robust. But it leads us to the big question for right now. In a world where industries are colliding, where new fields are popping up literally overnight, is having just one deep specialty really enough anymore?
And that question, well, it leads us right to the heart of this whole idea. It's time to meet the next stage in this evolution, the M-shaped professional. Now, take a look at this shape. This is not just a T with an extra leg. No. An M-shaped professional has multiple areas of deep expertise. We're talking 2, maybe more, peaks of specialization. And it's all still connected by that broad foundational knowledge base. But now you have several pillars of strength to stand on.
So what's really interesting here is how these components create something totally new. You've got those 2 or more deep specializations. Those are the peaks of the M. You have that broad base of general knowledge connecting them. But the real magic, the secret sauce, is the ability to connect seemingly unrelated ideas, to see patterns that other people miss, and to have that high-level, big-picture view of how everything fits together.
So what does this actually mean for you? What do you get by building this M shape in your own career? Well, let's talk about what I like to call your generalist superpowers.
Building an M shape gives you at least 3 huge advantages. First, your creativity goes through the roof. Real innovation usually happens at the intersection of different fields. Second, you get superior adaptability. If one of your specialties becomes less relevant, you've got another strong pillar to lean on. You're not fragile. And third, leadership potential. The ability to understand different departments and connect their work to the big picture, that is the definition of a great leader.
And this brilliantly illustrates the difference in the real world. A new project launches. The I-shaped specialist puts their head down and just focuses on their one task. The M-shaped professional is already thinking about how their piece connects to marketing, to tech, to sales. And when an unexpected problem hits, the specialist says, "Sorry, that's not my area." The generalist? They start pulling ideas from all their different toolkits to come up with a solution nobody else saw coming.
Now, I know this can all sound great, but maybe a little intimidating. So how do you actually start? The good news is this is a journey, not an overnight switch. So let's just walk through how you can start building your own M.
It really starts with 4 pretty straightforward steps. First, just audit your core skill. What are you already an expert in? Chances are you already have the first peak of your M. Second, explore a nearby field, something you're actually curious about. Curiosity is your fuel here. Third, and this is so important, actively look for the intersections. How can your old skills apply to this new field? And vice versa. That space in between is where the magic happens. And fourth, just never stop building that broad base of knowledge. Read books outside your industry. Talk to people who think differently. Stay curious.
So, if you take just one thing away from this today, please let it be this. We have to stop thinking of a career as a ladder that you just climb, rung by rung. It's not a ladder, it's a landscape. A huge, interesting landscape, full of different mountains to climb and new trails to connect them.
The M-shaped model is basically your map for exploring that landscape. So I'll leave you with one final question to get you started on your own journey. What two fields will define your M?